Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we are going to answer probably one of the biggest questions out on the internet today regarding spiral mixers. Is the Onni as a good spiral mixer as the big guys on the market? Well, we got to put it to the test. At first glance, the Onni looks impressive. I must admit, it's cool. But it's not about being cool to make a pizza dough. There's more than that. So with me today, you see the three biggest stars on the market. We have the Famag, the Sunmix, and the KYS, especially in the private home market. And we're gonna run all four machines through the same test and then hopefully finally answer the question, is the Onni good enough or is it not? So, I know there's gonna be skepticism out there and somebody's gonna point out that I'm not doing the right test. Just to make this bulletproof, I'm gonna read it out loud for you. So, first of all, we're gonna do the minimum dough test on all the machines. Smallest amount possible on each and every one of them. Moving on, we're gonna do a little stress test. So what are we gonna do? Well, I'm gonna put the maximum amount of dough in each machine, and then we're gonna run it through a 45% hydration. And then, moving on, we're gonna do still the maximum amount of dough, but we're gonna run it through a 60% hydration. And then finally, but least, we're gonna do a high hydration, which is around 85% hydration. 4 big tests, and if you come after me after that, I might kill you. First of all, I want to point out, this is not a sponsored video. I just died to know. I've been wondering, I'm a pizza enthusiast and I've been wondering forever. And I did all the research that I could and I couldn't find the answers. So guess what? Today I will find the answer with you. We're gonna put it to the test and finally know. Let's go. All right guys, so first of all, we gotta nerd it down a little bit and go through the specs of the machine so you kind of get the picture on how they work individually. So to start out with, we're gonna talk about the Onni. On their website, they describe their machine as follow. It has a 7-liter bowl with a 750 watt motor, and it weighs 14 kilos, and it has a dough capacity from 1 kilo to 5 kilos, and speeds from 60 to 345 rounds per minute, without reversing. The hooks can easily be replaced, so you can use whips for cream or mixing tools for cake batter. To continue, we have the Famag, which is an Italian machine, and they describe their machine as follows. This model has a 7-liter bowl. It has a 370 watt motor and weighs 28 kilos. It has a dough capacity of 800 grams to 4.8 kilograms, and that is at 60% hydration, and speeds from 70 to 210 rounds per minute without reversing. And then, to continue, we have the Sunmix. This bad boy has an 8-liter bowl with a 370 watt motor, and it weighs around 31 kilos. It has a dough capacity from 800 grams to 5.6 kilograms of dough, and that is also at 60% hydration. And it speeds from 7,300 rounds per minute, in addition to reversing. And machine number 4 is the KYS, and they describe their machine as follows. It has a 7.5 liter bowl with a 750 watt motor, and it weighs 26 kilograms. It has a dough capacity from 480 to 5.1 kilograms with a 60% hydration, and it speeds from 50 to 400 rounds per minute in addition to reversing. The machine has adjustable and removable center bars, an ice belt for kneading large dry doughs over a long period of time. Just to make it even here, of course, all the machines need the same starting point. We're gonna measure all the flour in the water just the right way for each machine to perform good. And then as well, we're gonna time everything, and we use cold tap water, which is around 6 degrees. And finally, the flour is around room temperature, which is around 19 degrees Celsius. All right, so the first test we're gonna run today is the minimum. Bare minimum, the smallest dough the machine can take. So over to the KYS. They've actually added a pretty cool function where you can take the center rod and either remove it or adjust it. And that will kind of, like, let's say if you're a Saturday evening and you want to make a New York style pizza, you need a pretty small dough, you just remove the rod or adjust it. So you just simply screw it on here, and then you can remove it. I'm so excited. Let's start the test. All right, so then we're gonna put it on. Voila! All right, so the amount of dough we have in the Onni is 1,024 grams of dough. The Famag has 800 grams. The Sunmix has also 800 grams. And finally, the KYS has 480 grams of dough. And all of them have 60% hydration. So in regard to the video, of course, I've taken out the security so we can lift them up and look at the beautiful doughs being made, giving us answers to finally reveal which one performs the best. So now I can see that the dough is moving upwards inside of the spiral, and I'm kind of curious if you have a sticky dough, if it's going to climb all the way up into the machine, because normally it will move and dance on the outside. So yeah, I'm kind of curious how that's gonna go, but we'll see. So now the machines have been working for around 10 minutes and the doughs are starting to look sexy. So yeah, we'll just have to wait a little longer and then we'll see. All right, so just as any good spaghetti western, you need a dual. We're gonna put the temperature out and check. So the dough in the Onni is 26 degrees Celsius compared to the Famag, which is 27. Moving on to the Sunmix, which is 23. And then finally, the KYS is 21 degrees. And the reason for that, I think, might be because we've removed the central rod in the KYS, which doesn't put as much friction on the dough compared to the other ones. And the temperatures that I've just read is after 15 minutes. All right, so looking at the Sunmix here, it seems like it goes a little smoother on the dough compared to the Famag and the Onni. And the reason for that, I think, is because of the shape of the spiral, even though when it has a central rod. So that's kind of interesting, I see. Very interesting. So now, just for fun, we've had them kneading for about 25 minutes. So they're pretty over kneaded, let's say. Going through each of the doughs, I can see that the Onni and the Famag, they're not usable. They're sticking to the bowl, useless. The Sunmix it's on the edge. But bear in mind, we have over kneaded them, but this is just a fun test to see. But interestingly, the KYS looks pretty damn good. And it's absolutely usable. So yeah, that's very interesting. All right, so now we're done. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the next test. So this test is the test that I'm pretty excited about. The reason for that is this is the test that's gonna determine whether the machines can live a lifetime, or if you know, if they break down. You never know. This is the full amount that the machines can take with a 45% hydration. You can compare it to the big boy, the Biga dough. So this test, we call it the stress test. And as you can see on the keys, we've put back the central rod to perform. And let's put it to the test. All right, so now we're just gonna start the machines and let the games begin. The machines have been going for 5 minutes now, and we can already see big differences. All right, so I need to talk a little louder now. As you can see here, the Onni struggles to perform. As you can hear, it makes a lot of sound and it moves strangely. I'm afraid it's going to explode. So I'm gonna just take a couple of steps back. The Sunmix also struggles in a way. It struggles to push the dough down into the bowl. It doesn't knead properly. It kneads it more as like a rose flowers opens up. So actually now the ones performing the best with the big dough is actually the Famag and the KYS. Alright, now I actually can see that the dough is coming together in the Onni as well, even though it's really struggling to get there. So now I'm going to just turn them off. Very exciting. So let's check them out. Alright, so this is absolutely a test where we push the machines. And we, like I said earlier, we used a 45% hydration, and in reality 60% is what's intended for the dough. So these doughs are pretty effing dry. But some did better than others, we have to say. And like touching them, a lot of the machines have pushed the dough well together. They've kneaded pretty well actually, if you think about how dry the dough actually is. The KYS and the Famag outperformed the other two. The Onni got there, but it really had to push itself through to get there. So then again, when we talk about longevity, how long is it going to push itself? You never know. It actually started to smell a little burnt in the room here, so it's a little concerning. And when I touch the doughs, I mean, like I said, they are well put together, but the Sunmix actually was the one who did not perform that good. And the reason for that is push the dough on the outside along the sides of the bowl like a flower, and it hasn't pushed it in together. It's not as compact as the other doughs. So that was kind of surprising to me. And to add, the big ones, the three big, the Famag, the Sunmix, and the KYS, didn't seem to struggle at all. Well built for big doughs. Alright, so now we have put the machines through a stress test with a 45% hydration, and we have now added water, so we're now at 60% hydration. So let's start the machines and see how they do. Alright, so now they've been kneading for around 5 minutes, and it looks pretty damn good. Not a lot of big differences in between them. They're actually doing pretty well, all of them, so it's a really good sign. Alright, so the doughs have now been kneaded for about 12-13 minutes, and 3 of them are doing pretty same, like the Onni, the Famag and the Sunmix. But now that I'm looking at the keys, it's actually kind of outperforming the other doughs. And I base that on the look of the dough. Like, it looks smoother, more delicate. It's more worked through, it seems. But we still have some time left, so maybe the other ones would catch up. We don't know. We'll see. But it's pretty exciting. We're gonna do a test that we've now been needing for about 15 to 16 minutes. We're reaching the end. So I'm gonna just test the temperatures to see where we're at. To start up, we have the keys, which is 23 degrees Celsius. And then we have the Sunmix, which is about 24. And then the Famag is 26 degrees Celsius. And then finally, the Onni is about 26 also. Nice. All right. So it's very interesting when you stop the machine. That's when you actually can see the quality of, more or less, like an indication of the quality of the dough. And actually, they are in order. Funny enough. So the Onni here, when I touch it, it lacks, it's very sticky, and it lacks the gluten network. It's almost as it is not worked through. It looks like an unfinished dough. I mean, the Famag is a little bit better. I mean, it has a little bit better texture, but still the gluten network is not where we want it to be. Moving on, the Sunmix has done pretty okay, I would say. It has a nice shape, it's smooth, the texture is good. As you can see now, it's a little bit more resistant and has a little bit better gluten network than the other two. And then finally, the keys has also done pretty good. It has a nice shape, it looks good, it's delicate. How it feels very good. So the Sunmix and the keys have done pretty good. And the other two, I would say, not so well. All right, so we have the final test. This test is based on the high hydration. So, and the reason for that is because I personally am curious on, more this sourdough type of doughs as well. And for me, it's important that a machine can perform in that regard too. So we're going to start off now with 2 kilograms of flour, and then we have added 60% hydration. Then we're going to let them knead for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then we're going to add more hydration, which means we're going to reach a hydration percent of around 85. So let's start. All right, seems like I didn't lock it properly, so we're just gotta put it down again and make sure we lock it properly, and then we'll go. All right, so now we are going to increase the speed on each of the machines. drastically. And then we're gonna add little by little water until we reach 85% of hydration. Very excited, let's do it. All right. Welcome back to the dough factory. The doughs have now been kneading for about 20 minutes. These types of dough, they need more time to reach the right temperature. So now we're gonna measure to see if we're on the right path. All right, so we're gonna start out with the keys. And the key sits at 22 degrees Celsius. The Sunmix is about 22 as well. And then the Famag, it's about 23 degrees Celsius. And finally, the Onni is at about 25 degrees Celsius. So we're getting there. Now we're gonna stop the machines and get into it and test them by feeling and looking at them. Hi, finally some peace. We need our head straight in order to evaluate all the doughs. So we can start up with the Onni here. I mean, I've been looking at all of them, they are pretty similar. But the one who I just think is not fast enough is the Famag. I think it has too little of speed in order to work on the dough. They're very moist. And then the Onni and the Sunmix and the keys, they're pretty similar. I think the keys has a little bit of an advantage because it's the fastest one of them. But elsewhere, I think they're pretty much the same. Yeah, the texture is there. The stickiness. Yeah. Mis amigos, escúchame bien. Yes, I am sorry, but I don't have the Italian words for you, but I have an opinion, and I'm going to share it with you. So, initially we asked ourselves, is the Onni good enough, or can it compete with the professional spiral machines? I have my personal opinion, and we have looked at different performances. And the Onni performs well, because we really put it to the test. If you are out to upgrade your kitchen, let's say you want to make a better pizza dough, you want to invite your Italian friends and impress them, yes, the Onni will be better than a Kenwood. But compared to the spiral ones, professional spiral machines, unfortunately, it's not there yet. The three other machines, the Keys, Sunmix, and the Famag, they run really good through the dough. They put the right amount of pressure. They move smoother around the dough, and they put the right friction on it. And also, the temperature on the dough was a little higher on the Onni compared to the three other ones. And that's a really important factor. So personally, I would say it's not there yet. But of course, if you have the budget, you want to upgrade your kitchen, you want to be better at pizza dough, these are really good options, and that's a good option. So you can always start with the Onni and then move up. So, conclusion. If you want the perfect professional dough, I would choose either one of these. They are the Ferraris, the Rolls Royce, whatever you want to call it, they are doing the work and it's worth your money. So guys, let me know in the comments what I should do next. Would you like me to test another spiral machine or kitchen machine? Or now that we have the dough, why won't we test the pizza oven? Which one is the best? How can we get as close as possible to the Napolitan pizza of the world? Anyways, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Like the video and put on the notification bell or whatever you want to call it. And I'll let you know when we put out the next test. Arrivederci!